Right, we've just finished recording another excellent podcast. So what do you want me to make for lunch?
I don't know. Can you make some kind of meat soup? Like something I can drink but also get my teeth into.
I suppose I could make like chicken soup, cocky-licky maybe?
No, something like a raw, rare kind of steak soup. Isn't that a thing?
A rare steak soup? I've never heard of that, but...
Can I just say, have you been working out? Your neck's looking really like muscular and veiny.
Oh,
have you been doing that? Have you been tanning your neck?
No, I've just been clenching, I suppose.
Clenching, aye, is that right?
Aye.
That's looking really good.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking...
Vampyr, the latest game from Don't Nod Entertainment, the creators of Life is Strange and Remember Me, is a hard game to love. For every aspect of the game that gets my mouth watering, there's an awful lot of gristle I need to chew through. Vampyr is the story of Dr. Jonathan Reed, a recently turned vampire who works in a London hospital immediately after World War I. 4 boroughs of London are being attacked by vampires and their vassals, and it's up to Dr. Reed to fight these threats, treat patients and decide if it's better to save people or to feed on them. On paper, this is right up my street. Lots of murky, morally grey areas where becoming more powerful means that you're destabilising parts of London, and all the time you're investigating your creator and exploring the limits of your newfound immortality. The streets of London are miserable and bleak, with little corners of interest to explore, although because you travel exclusively at night, there's practically no one about, except for vampire hunters and skulls, people who are kind of like vampires, but much smellier. So, if the nice tasty neck is the concept and the settings, most of the rest of the game is pretty much the bum. You still get blood from a bum, but it's far more awkward.
This is despicable.
If you've ever played one of the Sherlock Holmes games, or even Life is Strange, you know that there's a lot of talking involved, and Vampyr is no different. The only difference is that a lot of the chat in Vampyr is pretty boring. When you first meet someone, you'll have a couple of conversation options and a lot of locked topics. By talking to other people or looking for clues, you'll be able to unlock more conversation options, but then you'll need to go hunting for the person to go ask them a new question, which will unlock more options for some other prick who's already all the way back where you started. It just gets a bit tedious, especially when a lot of the chat doesn't really move the story forward or provide much interest. By finding out more about people, they do become more valuable, though, and by valuable, I mean you get more experience from supping upon their ivory necks. If you choose the path of Righteous Doctor, you'll be putting gentle healing kisses on those necks instead of big greedy bites, and you'll miss out on much needed experience points. Why are they much needed? Because there's unavoidable fights that you have to deal with, and the combat is, and I say this charitably, not very good. You have a bunch of vampire powers which consume blood points, which you get by sucking the necks of enemies or stabbing them with big tubes. But otherwise, it's just a standard third-person combat set up with 1 or 2-handed weapons that consume a stamina bar when you strike or evade. So often in the game you're told that being a vampire makes you basically unkillable, yet 2 guys armed with clubs can pretty much body you into a greasy paste. It's basic, it's a little frustrating, and to be honest, the game would have been much more interesting without it. I hate thinking about what a game could have been and comparing it to the reality, but the idea of a vampire game where you get to choose the fate of London either through healing or harming its population or by plotting against older, more established vampires would have been great. Or even a smaller story, something more intimate and smaller in scope that explores the complications that come with losing your humanity, especially in the context of a post-World War I Britain, would have been so up my street it would be sitting in the decking out my back garden right now. Don't Nod are specialists in creating and realising interesting ideas and concepts, but there's always something a little off. Remember Me had a brilliant idea, the remixing of memories, but it was let down by a very linear story and dull environments, and Life is Strange is full of heart, but it has some shockingly bad dialogue at times. Vampyr is a great idea, but it's too fatty, and the chef, isn't quite paying attention to how it's cooking, and maybe there's too much sauce on it, and you get what I mean. However, if you're looking for a wee vampire game that won't bust your coupon or cost 40 notes, you should check out Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. It's a loving tribute to the practically deceased Castlevania series and acts as a prequel for the upcoming Bloodstained game that's due to be released in the near future. The attention to detail is amazing, and swapping between 4 distinct characters keeps the combat and exploration fresh across multiple playthroughs. Special mention has to go out to the bosses, who are the highlight of the game. They're imaginative, they're funny, and they're challenging without being unfair. Your first time through the game should probably take about a couple of hours, but you'll definitely dive straight in for more, and there's plenty of alternative routes to take. So there you go. Vampyr, if it was a steak, let's stick with our food analogy, is a steak from a steakhouse that you've been to a few times before and it's not really always impressed you, but you know what, it looks quite fancy and folk are always talking about how much of a good time they have there, but sometimes you're thinking, I'm paying a lot of money here for not a lot, whereas Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is like, you know, getting a steak from Wetherspoons. It's not going to change the world, but it's only going to cost you about $8.99.
If you've enjoyed this video, then why not check out our newly launched Patreon at patreon.com/bitsocket, where you can help fund more videos like this and our podcast. There's even a bonus podcast if you pledge $3 a month. So why not go and check it out, patreon.com/bitsocket. Keep bitsocketing.